Okay, well, welcome to Pridecast. I'm your host, Shelby Brita, and on today's Pridecast, we have Amaryllis Martinez.
Hello.
Hello. So, how are you doing today?
Oh God. I'm doing
Love
good, I guess. But I'm hoping
it.
this will be me just talking about being gay, and it's pretty easy.
So, what do you identify as based on gender, sexual orientation, if you are comfortable with sharing?
Just queer. I don't really like labels, just queer. I would say that I identify as a she, they, so non-binary, but like also like, ooh, she's cute.
Real. Yes, I love that. I love it. I love it. What is your journey in theater and your queer identity? Like, has one ever influenced the other?
I don't think theater has ever influenced me in that way. I would say that more than anything, I was like, do I like men? And so theater was like, oh, straight cis men just hanging out. Don't like that. But other than that, I feel like if anything, I have helped my friends in theater realize who they were, just by, I don't know, I had a best friend when I was in high school, and he was immediately bullied because he was like out and proud queer, and he wasn't like quiet, and so I was like, it's okay to be proud. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's also okay to be like okay with it and just not have to talk about it too.
That's so good. I'm glad you were able to like create that safe space and that you're still doing that. So that's so good to hear. What is your creative process? Be it for acting, directing, movement, how do you break down the stories that you want to tell?
Well, I'm a writer, so I make the stories.
Nice, yeah.
So I guess if it had to do with acting, I definitely want to take on myself in the role, of course, and like be like, well, let's stop and see, even if this character is supposed to be straight or whatever, it's like, well, we can explore different parts of them, make them queer to my identity, and make it make sense to me. Anytime I'm acting in a role, I make it my own and I make them up the way that I feel comfortable. And then with writing, I mean, I only write queer characters. I can't write anything else just because it's not true to me.
That's good. I'm glad like that whole process is like so personal and true to you. I feel like that's very like it shows your creative voice a lot, which is really amazing to see in just like all aspects of theater.
Thank you. Oh, Shelby. Oh my God. Okay.
Stop, what? We can't do these gay interviews because everyone's gonna flirt with each other.
I know. Good damn.
What are your biggest influences as a creator or a storyteller? This can be an artist, a story, anything, just something that influences you.
My family, my friends influence my art and how I create my characters, because I would like to make them as real as possible. And I think all the beautiful people around me that are queer and love their identity, it helps me write real characters that are complex, and not only are they queer, but they're a person, and that's just a part of their identity that like creates conflict sometimes, but it also creates community and love. And so I thought, that's what I do with my creative process. I create this like two, love and then conflict, and then I just put them together. I'm like, it's queer.
It's queer. Interesting. Yeah. No, I love that. I feel like one of the biggest problems with like LGBT media is just them being gay for a reason and not just for the sake of being gay.
Yeah.
Like making characters just like queer for the sake of being queer and not having it be the plot, the major plot, is really important and really real. So that's also really good to hear.
Yeah.
In what ways does your identity influence your work? Like I know you said like a lot of the characters you write are queer just because it's true to you. If you want to like expand on how your identity influences what you do, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and not only as a queer person, but as, a queer woman, I guess. It's like I have a different perspective and non-binary, and I just think that I add that to my characters because there's different, again, whenever you're queer, you can't all be put in a category. And I mean this like a gay male, cis male is very different from a queer, non-binary, woman sort of. So I definitely have a different perspective, and I don't try to tell other people's perspectives, because that's not my story to tell.
You've worked on Opened, which we were just talking about. What challenges did you face as a creative, and how did you overcome them in that process?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I've talked to so many people about this. And everyone had a different experience on that show. Some people were stressed, some people were having fun, some people were like having to have conversations that were really important. But me, I was like, this is silly. This is fun because I got to play a fun character. I was like, okay, get it, girl, I guess. And I was like, she's queer too. She just doesn't know it.
Real. I love that.
But I loved everyone on just in the show. They're all awesome. I love you guys. Y'all are all so creative and have so many ideas. And I think that it was a fun process, and I wish to be a part of more of y'all's, stuff.
Well, yay! We'd love to have you be a part of our stuff too. That's so exciting. It's so good to hear this. It was so much fun working with you. Is there a project that Cosmo has put on that wasn't your own but was particularly eye-catching for you?
What do we have? Oh my gosh, Scream.
Yeah.
Okay, but Scream is my favorite like slasher film, horror movie, whatever. I've always loved it, and it was like, what is it, unauthorized or whatever, and I was like, yeah. That's kind of cool. Maybe we do Jurassic Park and I dress in a dinosaur outfit. I don't know.
That's what we're here for. Scream was such a fun little show. So to hear that it was like eye-catching for the outside audiences.
Yeah, so many people came. It was awesome. I was like, this is the most packed I've ever seen it ever.
Mm-hmm. I genuinely think that was like the point where Cosmo kind of went from like this to like this, which is so cool to see.
Yeah, and Jessica told me to go, and I was like, I'll go, just because sometimes I'm like, because I didn't know, because it was fairly new, and I was like, well, I'll go just in case no one else goes. And then I went, and I was like, holy fuck, I gotta get out of here.
Next we have, what does make your own yes, Cosmo's slogan, mean to you?
Well, I was in the dorms with Jessica when she was writing plays, and it was just me and this other person. We were reading her shows, and we were like, oh my god, these are really good, and we should totally like put them on. And then as soon as I knew it, y'all were doing interviews and stuff to put on the show. Y'all were coming up with the names of your company, and I was like, I want to be a part of this. I really do. Because, I mean, it started with someone writing a play. And I just think that's awesome because that's my favorite thing to do. I love to write a play. And then suddenly it's super collaborative and everyone wants to be a part of it. And it has so many opportunities for people to do whatever they want. We're so used to just a regular rehearsal process and like how we do things that's very like business. And I hate it because we can make it our own entire new thing. And I think y'all have done that. And it's so much fun being a part of y'all shows. People will write it, people will act in it, people will do lighting, and they just show up one day and we're like, yeah, you're gonna do blood. And it was awesome.
That's awesome. It's so good to hear that. Love you so much. This is not just for Cosmo, but for the theater that you've experienced thus far, do you still feel represented? And if not, why?
I mean, everyone can always be represented more, I believe. I mean, it starts with the writing, and then it starts with casting people that follow that. I get really upset with representation at Texas State. I think Cosmo does a very good job of it so far. But at Texas State, they'll like put on a play where it's like an autistic character and they don't cast an autistic person for whatever reasons, and those reasons are wrong and it's stupid. So I really didn't like that. But I really enjoy that everyone is pretty much queer on our team. And like if they're not, it's like, look at you, you're writing a play, good for you. I'm talking about Zach. Is Zach queer?
Real?
I'm like, okay, Mr. Director.
Yeah, there can always be more representation, and I feel like with like the smaller theater organizations with like Cosmo and JTLT and the ones that like not exactly main stage, I feel like we have the opportunity to really like start it from the ground up. And we can already kind of see it like taking an effect, which is really great.
Okay.
If you could be a Pop-Tart, what flavor would you be?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, this is so dumb because I would I would be a strawberry, but that's so original and I don't want originality. Not original, non-original. And I'm like, ew, but I love strawberry. I love it so much. But I guess I mean Pop-Tarts are so gay. I've never seen anything gayer than a Pop-Tart.
So weird.
Maybe like caramel Pop-Tart.
Oh.
Stays in your mouth and you're like, ooh, that's warm. And I'm like, yes, I'm here. I'll stay.
I love that. That's one of the best answers I've ever heard. I love that. All right. And thank you so much, Amaryllis, for talking with us. We thank you so much for the work you do. We love you so much and all the work you do. Do you have any parting words for us?
I love you guys. Please cast me in shows and please put my writing up. I'm merely just a cute little guy. Thank you.
Truer words have never been spoken. And this has been Pridecast, a show by Cosmo to highlight the best and brightest of our troupe. Thank you for listening, and make your own yes and slay hard.